Danny, ultimately not good enough today. What's your thoughts on the performance?
I think you just summed it up in one sentence, mate. Not good enough. The lads have come in the dressing room, they've apologised to us, they said that they were miles off it, and in my opinion that's not good enough. You can't be, we don't want to be anyone to outwork us or cause us any problems, and the boys, they worked hard, but they didn't work smart. And you look at the goal, I think that's going to give me nightmares for a while, because we're not in any danger. We're in complete control, and it was embarrassing. You've got two players that have just left it for each other in our penalty area. I'd rather them both go for it, collide, and just smash the ball for a cross. Whatever the situation was, you can't just let the white player walk in. He must have thought all his Christmases had come at once. And then after that, they caused us a few problems, to be fair, but nothing major. No unbelievable saves from Mitch. We didn't have a shot at goal. We changed it. We changed the personnel. We put in players on the pitch. We put attacking players on the pitch. We didn't have a shot on target. Keeper didn't make a save. And if you don't shoot, you don't score. And I know that sounds a really silly thing to say, but it's that simple. If you don't shoot, you don't score. And we didn't have a shot. We didn't have a shot at keeper.
A few changes made before the game as well, with a slight change of formation, as you mentioned. What was the thinking behind that?
Because we've been playing 4 Diamond 2, and I think teams had worked us out, and they'd managed to stifle us, and we thought, right, okay, it was an opportunity for us to look at it. It worked well against Altrincham. Although we lost to Halifax, I thought we played well against Halifax. And Boreham Wood, we scored 3, but we conceded 3, and we looked exposed at times. And the Chesterfield game, they to be fair, they'd done their homework, but they stopped us playing. So we went back to what we've been doing, and we looked at what the players understand fundamentally as their roles. So there's no excuses. And today, the bottom line is, player for player, we weren't good enough. And fair play to Solihull. I thought after we gifted them the goal, I thought they managed us really well. And even when they went down to 9 men, we didn't cause them any problems.
You mentioned going back to the goal as well. It was a difficult one because George has gone for the ball, Cody's gone for the ball. They both seemed to sort of come together, and then ultimately the wide man's coming and just snuck in and scored.
No, I think the opposite. I think neither of them went for the ball. They both assumed that the other one was going to do it, and they're both in there after the game saying, "Well, I thought he was going to clear it, and I thought he was going to clear it," and that's under 11 stuff, like, and not great under 11 stuff. That's basic principles of defending. We're in our penalty area, someone has to go and defend the ball. And if we'd have lost the game today to a wonder strike or a great passage of play, you just have to hold your hands up at times. But to lose the game to a goal like that, mistake against Halifax, mistake against Chesterfield, mistake today, players are making mistakes, and that's got to stop.
And to a team that would have gone into the game, out of form, hadn't won in 10. The opportunity was there to get back onto winning ways, and just we couldn't find a winning touch today.
Yeah, look, and as I said, if they'd have scored a great goal and held on, and we were bombarding their goal, and they just defended resolutely like we've done at times this year when we've been down to 10 men, etc. You go, do you know what? Fair play to them, but they didn't really have to do anything to earn the 3 points, and that's the most concerning thing for me. And we're at that stage of that season where I think the worst thing that's happened for us is the decision that the league have said there's no relegation. Because since that's happened, I'm looking at our players and thinking, almost, I'm not sure what we're even trying to do. I mean, some of the decisions out there today, it's almost like they think, well, if there's no risk, we can take some risks on the pitch. No, we still want to win football matches. I've said, I've gone on press already, I don't want to be that club that we end up just turning it in for the season and focusing on next year. What's the point in that? We want to win football matches, and they need to liven up, because there's a lot of players available that would probably come and play for nothing if they don't want to do their jobs properly. And
against a team that, as you say, went down to 9 men as well, ultimately you're more disappointing given the fact the opportunity was there with 2 added men.
Yeah, I mean, look, we say 9 men, they weren't, there wasn't 9 men for long, but there was enough time with 10 men. And again, you don't work the goalkeeper. He's come and punched a couple from a few long throws, but you don't work the goalkeeper. And the indecisiveness amongst the players at times with whether to cross it, it's not rocket science, is it? If you've got an overload of players in the penalty area, you put the ball in the penalty area. It doesn't look pretty at times, but you just keep that pressure on. And I don't think we did that well enough today. And the lads, as I said, the lads have apologised and told us that they're going to put it right and all that kind of stuff. But for me, actions speak louder than words, and we need to see some action.
And where do you think that comes from? Not shooting, not taking shots on goal, and
I don't know. Actually, this season we've scored a lot of goals.
Exactly that.
We've been up there in the top 5 pretty much all season for goals scored, and I don't know what's changed, because we haven't changed. The messages from the dressing room haven't changed.
Yeah.
The players seem to, I don't know, they seem to have taken it on themselves to make decisions that beggars belief at times. But look, there's no point just battering the players. The bottom line, we've still got 14 games to play. We need to pick them up. We need to go again Tuesday. We've got a nice easy one, Notts County away. So it doesn't get any easier, does it? But they have to take responsibility. But they have to then do the work. And this is what we're saying to them now. This is your job. You're paid to be a football player, and people see you and look in from the outside thinking, oh, it's great, like these lads, I'd love to be a football player. It's a job, and these guys need to make sure that they're doing enough to secure a job for next season, whether it's with us or not. They should be working harder. I'd be looking at this as a fantastic opportunity. As a staff, we look at this as a fantastic opportunity to take the shackles off and have a real go. And it's almost like that's taken off so much of the pressure that they think they can start doing things and making their own decisions. Well, we've clearly proved today that we're not good enough to do that. So they need to learn to just do as they're told.
And we're also talking after an extended post-match team talk within the tunnel, within the players in this dressing room. I'm not going to ask you to go into detail what was said, but clearly something was spoken about in detail after the game that hopefully rolls them up the next game.
Well, obviously, I expressed my disappointment. And I can't remember what was said because it was quite heated. But after the dust sort of settled on it, the questions were asked: why? Why are you doing something? And this was to individuals that you haven't done all season, but in the last couple of games you've decided to do this. What's happened? Because they're not instructions from us. And yes, it's my team. I take accountability for it, but it's hard to take accountability when they're not doing what you've told them to do. And then we take players out of the team, we put different players on the pitch to go and do what you're told to do. And then they suddenly decide they want to have an opinion on it as well and try and do something a little bit different. And I'm all for that if you've got a good foothold in the game and if we're dominating and you think, right, okay, let's just quite slightly change what we're doing. But we didn't have a period of that in the game today. And although they didn't really cause us loads of problems, we didn't cause them any either. And it's just very, very flat performance today.
And obviously, like you said, Notts County on Tuesday, lost the semi-final of the FA Trophy today. They'll be looking to bounce back in many ways.
Yeah, look, it's a massive club, and you go in there, and it's a fantastic opportunity. Of course, there's pressure because we want to win games, but what a great opportunity! You're going to play probably the best stadium in the league, lovely pitch. Like, what is there to be worried about? What a great night to go and express yourselves, and hopefully they do what they're capable of doing, which is bounce back and put on a performance.
Are you in with a shot? More information below. Click here for the next video, click here to subscribe.